Now that we're in December, we can finally start celebrating the season. The season where we can catch up with that old man with a white beard, revel in some of the magic, and enjoy the green and red colours that accompany this time of year. Wait, you thought there was some other event happening this time of year? That's right, this December brings us another Star Wars, and with Rogue One's release imminent, fans have been speculating left, right and centre on what new info this new Star Wars spin-off will give us. So here are the 5 wildest Rogue One fan theories about the new Squad of Scoundrels.
This is the question that's been plaguing Star Wars fans for years.
How on earth could the Death Star be destroyed so easily? Sure, Luke's got the Force, shot was 1 in a million, yada yada. But why the flip does the Death Star have such a giant Achilles heel in the first place? Well, Reddit user OpusDiddy007, interesting name, thinks that Rogue One may give us the answer.
He thinks that Jin's father, the famed scientist Galen Air, put it there. Here's his reasoning.
The Ursos lived in captivity until they were rescued by Orson Krennic, an old friend of Galen's and member of the Republic/Empire's Death Star project. Jin ended up being separated from her parents and doesn't hear anything from them until years later. The rebels go full jeansreunited.com and manage to intercept a transmission from one Galen Urso, who says that a major weapons test is imminent.
You know, the planet-destroying Death Star variety of major weapons testing.
While Jin thinks that her father built the Death Star, could it actually be that he sabotaged it too? In one trailer we hear the lovely Mads Mikkelsen saying,
"Whatever I do it to protect you."
Sure, he'd be terrible at singing Bryan Adams at karaoke, but he might have just given the rebels a chance.
Top Dad.
Do it for
In a bid to tie together the sequel trilogy with the spin-off series of movies, Redditor Red Light Gamers... Red Light Gamers? This is a movie theory, not a game theory. The name's not Red Light Movies. Jeez. Anyway, Red Light poses the theory that this squadron of rebels actually become the Knights of Ren further down the road. The meat of this theory comes from comparisons between this promo image for Rogue One and the Force Awakens concept art for the Knights of Ren. Right, so let's break down the 5 rebels versus the 5 knights. Firstly, Donnie Yen's badass character Chirrut Imwe has been paired with a knight called Monk, as Red Light compares his appearance to that of a Tibetan monk, and both utilize staffs in combat. Baze Malibus has the bearing of a heavy weapons trooper with armor and a large blaster, so he is a shoo-in for the knight labeled as the Heavy. Then there's Diego Luna's Cassian Andor, who is carrying a rifle around in both the promo image and some trailer scenes, so he seems fit for the role of the knight labeled Sniper. The knight named the Armory has been connected with Bodhi Rook, as both sport plenty of gadgets and matching goggles. And lastly, as the leader of the rebellious bunch, it only makes sense that Jyn Erso holds the title of the Knight Rogue. Thankfully, there are some more connections rather than just the physical similarities between the two groups. In Forrest Whitaker's speech in the trailer, it implies there's a risk of the rebels being captured and broken.
If you continue to fight, what will you become?
Perhaps implying that Vader or Sidious mentally breaks or mind washes the rogues into joining the Empire. Whether this is a legitimate connection or not, I'll let you guys decide. I just hope they're way less emo than their leader.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
This next theory could be the bridge between Rogue One and the new trilogy.
The theory linking the two together was put forward by Snakey113, who posits that Supreme Leader Snoke, the malevolent oversized bad dude seen in The Force Awakens, will actually appear in Rogue One. How, you ask? Well, in the trailers, eagle-eyed fans have spotted a Bacta tank, a device which is used to accelerate healing, and not seen since Luke took a wampa to the face in Empire Strikes Back. The theory is that Snoke is inside that tank, and therefore likely to make an appearance in Rogue One.
However, this theory starts to fall apart thanks to its reliance on the idea that Snoke is Darth Plagueis, the master of Darth Sidious, who you may remember to be Emperor Palpatine. Stay with me here.
So, Plagueis is known to be so powerful that he was capable of using the Force to extend his lifespan and effectively become immortal. Except he was eventually killed by his own apprentice, as dark side apprentices are inclined to do. So why would Palpatine keep him around and put him in a healing tank?
Well, Snaky Snoky theory says it could be because he's just an evil son of a gun and wants to revel in his victory by using his master as a trophy.
However, a likelier theory suggests that Palpatine needed the secrets to Plagueis' life-extending Force abilities and so had to keep him around. Unfortunately, Lucasfilm's creative executive, Pablo Hidalgo, who loves crushing fan dreams by debunking theories, has thoroughly kicked this one to the curb. Firstly, he said Plagueis could keep his loved ones from dying, not himself.
And secondly, that Plagueis is 100% mega dead, and thus not Snoke.
Nevertheless, that doesn't mean Snoke can't be in Rogue One. As noted by Star Wars fans the galaxy over, in The Force Awakens, Snoke says he's watched the Galactic Empire rise and then fall, which means he was around during the original trilogy in some capacity, perhaps skulking around even further back than that.
The First Order rose from the dark side. You did not.
Lawsan Teca was in The Force Awakens for a hot minute. That was before he got chopped into hot minute steaks.
Come on, you know who I'm talking about. Max von Sydow, the guy who gave Poe Dameron the map to Luke Skywalker, the three-eyed raven from Game of Thrones. Yeah, there you go.
There's gotta be more to Tecas, and Reddit user BRNin8, catchy, thinks that Rogue One could be the movie to give us some answers.
We know bits about Teca from official Star Wars Gumph. His character bio on StarWars.com states that he helped Luke Skywalker retrieve ancient Jedi lore after the Battle of Endor. So they could have got Pally, and that's when Luke entrusted Teca with the map to find him.
Which explains his tie to the male Skywalker twin and why Leia sends Poe Dameron to go and find him. But how close are Tecas and Leia? Well, close enough that Tecas clearly reveres Leia for her princess status and not for her general's rank.
Burninate, sure why not, believes that a younger version of Teca will appear in Rogue One as one of the rebels that helped steal the Death Star plans. That would certainly make him an old ally of Leia's, which is how he knows all about Ren's Jerry Springer family drama.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see the film to find out, but come on, he's an old dude. He could have been around for the events of Rogue One. And I mean, if not, then me and Burninate are gonna look dumb as fuck.
This is the theory that has the highest probability of coming into fruition. Jyn Erso, the protagonist of Rogue One, is Force sensitive.
This theory was recently strengthened in Rogue One's Trust trailer, during which a young Jyn is told to trust in the Force by a lady that is believed to be her mother. Later on, Jyn herself actually says,
"May the Force be with us."
That pretty much settles it, right? What's interesting about this is until now Jyn has been presented as an everywoman, a plucky heroine with no special powers that the audience can relate to, an ordinary person doing something extraordinary.
Kinda like Luke.
But alas, she's special, destined to do something important that will have implications for years to come. There's nothing wrong with that, and if anything, it'll be exciting to watch that moment when she finally realizes that the Force works through her.
Again, kind of like Luke.
Well, we don't have long to wait before Rogue One hits our screens, so maybe we can confirm or bust some of these myths. For more videos like this one, make sure to like and subscribe to GameSpot, and we'll see you next week.